So the essence of the audio program, Free Yourself from Anxiety, is to begin to cultivate the skills of mindful attention and compassionate awareness, to begin to become more present with the sense of distress or suffering that people experience from their anxiety. So my hope is that as people listen to the teachings and begin to practice with some of the meditation practices, that they'll actually become sort of in closer contact with what they're really feeling when they feel this sense of anxiety and fear, and be able to work with it. The one thing about the program, though, I think, is that there's a bit of a misnomer in the title. I think that it's not actually about freeing yourself from anxiety. It's really about freeing yourself from the suffering that we experience when we're feeling a lot of anxiety and stress. I think that there's a lot that we can learn from the anxiety and stress that we feel. Our bodies express that anxiety for a reason. And I think that if we can tune into what's going on for us, we can actually begin to respond to that anxiety or the stressors in a way that is more mindful, sort of a way that I call using wise mind instead of using the emotional mind, the reactive mind. So the program begins by helping us begin to understand where anxiety comes from, where it lives in our body, how it expresses itself in our thoughts, in getting stuck in rumination and worry, and how it then shows up sometimes in our behaviors, whether it's that we begin avoiding things that make us feel anxious, or we begin using things to try to sort of numb out from the world and from our anxiety. I think once we have a better understanding of what anxiety is, where it lives in our body, how it arises physiologically for us, that we can begin to start to work with it. And, working with it as an object of mindfulness, I think it's really helpful to have a sense of, well, what is this that I'm going to be paying attention to? Where does this come from? I think all too often people end up feeling as if their emotions take over. They are their emotions, and in fact, they're not. We can sit in mindful presence in our own sort of awareness and not be driven by our emotions or not be carried away by our emotions. But it's helpful to know that this is just something happening in my body and I can be present with it. So the program really begins with that understanding and then moves into explaining how we can sit with mindful awareness. And I always believe that everyone needs to be able to learn first how to sit with mindful awareness in a calm moment before we're going to start working with our anxiety and our distress. So the beginning practices are about first relaxing the body and actually just calming down in our body, becoming more aware of how to be present with the sensations in our body, and then becoming more mindful and focused on breath and thought and emotion. The final set of practices, which I think are the real sort of the real essence of this program, the real work of this program, is to then be able to cultivate, using the skills of mindfulness that we learn in the beginning of the program, to then cultivate a healing space where we're actually going to begin to invite our anxiety and distress in and work with it and really see what we can do to transform our experience of it.